Good afternoon, LinkedIn. I believe we are live. We are live.
Yay.
We're here in Stockholm. My name's Daniel, and this is Aurora. She has joined me for a 15-minute pitch. I'm going to sell to you why I think you should be going on LinkedIn Live.
Well, clearly I am right now. So
Forced you here.
Successful pitch.
Thank you. Well, it's just the start. I've seen your content on LinkedIn and in other places on YouTube. I think I've even seen you speak on stage before. And I think, you're such an inspirational speaker.
I'll flattery about you everywhere.
Gifted. And not everyone is. So I think when you come across someone who is skilled at communicating, I think it's good to look at all the content platforms and methods available. And I get surprised quite often that people like yourself aren't doing live broadcasts, since you have the sort of, you've dealt by going on stage a lot. That's scary as hell to most people.
I was just saying the other day, I find it very meditative.
Oh, wow.
There is no room for bills, dishes, worries about the world. You're absolutely in the room, 100% focused, trying to understand who's saying what, trying to read the audience, thinking laterally. Like, it's very calming.
Even the first time you went on stage?
No, I cried.
There we go.
Before.
Okay.
I would cry, and I would have these huge, like the, what's it called?
Anxiety.
No, not anxiety, the imposter syndrome.
Ah, that one.
But the millisecond I got on stage, it was over. Completely different zone. Like, I opened a door to a parallel universe where I belonged, and I did my thing, and then I got off stage, back into imposter syndrome. And because I am very present on stage, I actually didn't remember what I'd said. And then you start second guessing. What did I say? I can't remember.
Wow.
So that's why, and that's my one main objective to this live nonsense that you're talking about, is there's no cutting, there's no reviewing. But I mean, I'm over the big parts of imposter syndrome, but it's the element of live.
Yeah. Well, we all have to go through that at some point, and doing difficult things usually leads to good things. So that's one good example.
Did you read that off a bumper sticker?
Probably. Some cheesy quote.
Yes.
But again, thank you for joining us on LinkedIn. We haven't done a LinkedIn event. We've just spontaneously gone live. So I hope we're capturing you in your feed right now, and you're joining this quick discussion where I'm going to pitch live streaming to Aurora, who's kindly given up a bit of her time this Thursday afternoon here in Stockholm. So let's start. I mean, let's jump in.
No, I have a question first.
Okay, please.
As we do this, can people comment and ask questions?
Andreas, can people comment and ask questions? Probably not. That's a no.
That's a no. So you're pitching. It's you and me now.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah, just the two of us. Okay. But it will be available on LinkedIn afterwards in the comments on both our LinkedIn accounts. So perhaps we'll get some feedback that we can use to gauge the success of my pitch.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So you're a great communicator. You're on somewhat of a mission. Your content is extremely inspiring, and it wakes us up to some of the challenges we face as a human species. Like, why haven't you done live broadcasting before? Maybe you have. Maybe you've been on national television or some other performance-based platforms, or
not live.
Okay. Why not live then so far?
Because the way I communicate is either I'm asked to join, come to our stage, come to our forum, come to this context, add your perspective. Mm-hmm. But what you're pitching is create your own platform and your own context. And for me, that has mainly been in the written form. Like, I've co-authored a book. I've written columns in the main Swedish daily. I will write a blog post. And in parallel to that, I have sometimes felt the need to visualize or vent my frustration about something or raise an eyebrow about a stat. And that means I will pick up my phone and I will shoot a short video. And I use TikTok Instagram to a degree and LinkedIn to a degree. So yesterday, for example, I made a talk in front of 500 students, and coming out of it, I felt this overwhelming sense of 500 students were looking at me. What are we supposed to do with our future? And we were talking about, because we were celebrating UN Day, 78 years since the UN's inception, and how does artificial intelligence and climate change the geopolitical landscape? And me highlighting some positive aspects of that. Tech is being built, wealth is created, and then a bit of harsh reality in terms of both AI and climate. Anyway, long story. I came out of there with an emotion around these children's potential reaction to what I was going to say. And I felt the need to share that. But that's a video. And the good thing about that video is I've probably shot 5 videos before I felt, I didn't script it, but like, is the background. So there's a vanity aspect, there's a content aspect, there's a wordsmith aspect to it. And it takes me
roughly 5 times to get the one that you want to post.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that, I mean...
And I don't get that chance now. Like, this is it.
No, but you mentioned TikTok is kind of your go-to platform then for that type of content. Is that where you would post first?
I could pretend that I have a thought-out strategy that I now communicate to you. But because that's not how I operate, it's very much a gut-based mood of the day. I will alternate between LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. And I have a vague idea of which content would fit where, based on how I consume their content. Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting about TikTok now is we're seeing it, it continues to rise. And Gary Vaynerchuk, one of my marketing mentors, he talks about the TikTokification of all forms of video content, which is this kind of raw, ranty, get it out of your head format and just chuck it out there for the world to kind of comment and see. And it's quite refreshing because I think Instagram got in the way a little bit of that. And I certainly, my generation, I felt like this perfectionist platform, everything had to be perfect. It had to look incredible, to be a sunset in the background and all these things. And TikTok is finally sort of a platform that doesn't need to be perfect.
However, and I agree with that, the ranty aspect, and that's also, I rant about stuff. However, the filters on TikTok are quite aggressive. So I look like I'm gorgeous on TikTok as well. And now I haven't spent the time like, how do I get all these filters off? So I also feel that it's ranty and authentic, but I look like a Barbie. So I struggle with that a little.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think you can turn those off if you need to, but...
At LinkedIn Live, do we sense irony and mocking here?
I'm going to have to move back a bit further away.
I will take notes. There will be live mocking.
Tip for pitches.
Yeah.
A little bit
I
of...
hope your pitch gets better.
Yeah, I'm going to try. So I think, one of the benefits of doing a live format like this, we've literally just jumped in and just started talking. And, I think educational content is always going to rise to the top and get shared. So I think, coming at a live format from an educational perspective is always a great place to start. And, I think you have a message that's very well embedded in education. Like we need to educate more and more people about the future, the challenges we face. So I would say that education and the path you're on go hand in hand.
Yes, and I'd like to nuance that because there is enough data out there. Like there's reports and pages after pages after pages about where the world is heading and what happens when we're burning fossil fuel, etc. So there's no lack of factual content, scientific base. However, it's hard to digest. And people are in a hurry or don't want to understand all of the aspects or don't understand how they can relate to it. So I'm thinking, I'm helping you with your pitch here.
I know.
That this format could also help people mentally marinate some of this content and make it accessible.
Yeah, could it be that part of the challenge is that the people up until this point who have been communicating the challenges we face are somewhat, there's a lot of politicians, they are on a big stage. It's hard to relate to them, particularly when you see them on national television and the messages coming through in that format. It feels a bit kind of intimidating for people to sort of just absorb. So maybe a more honest and transparent live production, broadcast, could break through, have a chance of breaking through more. And since LinkedIn is being underutilized from a live perspective, I think that could be a place to get some traction or some exposure.
But Daniel, one of the things we were talking about before all of this, which is probably one of my main challenges, is that I have very conflicting emotions around this.
Around live broadcasting?
No, around my actual mission. And therefore I'm wondering if live can accommodate my conflicting emotions. Mm-hmm. Because they're paradoxical. Big word for a little Swede.
But that's...
But so I am worried. Like I'm angry sometimes. I'm worried sometimes. I feel existential angst. I come sometimes from a very dark place.
But that's the people probably feel like that on the other end of the message.
And I'm excited. Like the investor side of me goes, there is huge amount of wealth that will be created as we build the fossil-free chapter of humanity. Everything in our fossil foundation needs to be exchanged. Renewable energies. So my portfolio, the funds that I co-invest in, the jobs that will be created, that's exciting, like a geeky exciting and financial. But holding these two sometimes makes my message a bit mixed. Plus, I will fluctuate in energy. And I'm not sure that a live can handle me going, and then maybe instead it should be a bit stricter.
It's a fair point, but I would say that honesty and transparency will help the content break through. I think that on the other end of your message, that will help people resonate with what you're saying more, because like I said before, the people that are communicating these challenges to the world are highly polished and perfectly presented on a national podium.
I'm polished.
I know, but you're also very nice and normal, which is a compliment. No, but you're approachable, and you express yourself in a way that's not, is easy to understand. So I would say that the live format is a kind of an antidote to those, highly polished TV productions that I think people are getting more skeptical about. The overproduced studio and that kind of format.
Yeah. Which brings me to my other question, which is, I tend to not want to have my life too organized. And I will pick up my phone and do my 5 shots and then post something as a reaction comes or as I read something.
When you get the kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's okay? Like you can be spontaneous, or every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, like
Well, I would make that content part of the show, of the live production. So, you can pre-record your rants, and you can show them in the live production, which we can demonstrate something like that now quickly. Now, Andreas, so we can cut to some kind of pre-recorded material that you did at a show. So you're like sort of reviewing your week. This is me at the expo, and this is me. I got a bit upset. I got a bit upset after speaking to this, person who wasn't interested in the doom and gloom. So, it's you kind of a chance to maybe sum up on perhaps the highs and lows of the week or the month. So that could be useful. And and the effort you're putting into doing those 5 takes, that's 30 minutes of your day. That's a lot of time. You get to use that one again. Yeah, or maybe there's a blooper in there we could have in as well to show that.
Okay.
So I think it's repurposing material and bringing it all together in a home, in a place that makes sense.
I have another question.
Please.
I watch LinkedIn, or I scroll LinkedIn on silent mode. Mm-hmm. So therefore, someone watching this will see me but not hear me.
Yep.
Will we auto-generate captions?
Yes. We have auto-generated captions.
Why do I feel like an idiot asking idiot questions? That's
No,
a genuine question.
it's a very important question, for sure. You know, a lot of people that engage on LinkedIn are doing so at work, and they're not going to have the audio on. So
I TikTok, but that's my evening pleasure,
relaxation.
Yes, phone headset in, but LinkedIn on the bus or on between meetings.
We have auto captions, but also one of the great things about LinkedIn Live is that, you know, we do a piece of live content like this, and hopefully this is being picked up now in people's streams as they're looking through LinkedIn, but also it'll live on as a piece of material.
There's a song there.
Yeah, there is. We can obviously remove it from LinkedIn. It's not on for forever, but from now, once we finish the live stream, it'll be marked as previously live, and anyone who missed it will see it tomorrow and the next day. And if it gets engagement, it'll stay high up on the algorithm. Will keep it high up on the newsfeed, and
because it's a new feature.
Yeah, it's a new feature, and also
algorithm prioritizes
it, and also you can ask people to repost it, which amplifies it quite nicely. You can actually amplify the live stream now. So what I recommend people to do is to have a group of friendly, 5 or 10 friendly colleagues or, you know, ambassadors or friends and family even, and just say, I'm going live in 5 minutes. Can you repost my live stream? And then you get free organic distribution. It doesn't cost anything to do that. And also you could grow that network, and hopefully people would naturally do that anyway. So you could do the same thing with the post released version that LinkedIn just let out as well. So it's there. If anyone misses it, you can say, hey, check this out. This was fun. Do you want to come on as a guest in my next one?
Exactly. Now, I think the guest format is interesting where, and maybe there's a sequence here. There's an emotional reaction during the week with a rant and 5 takes that then becomes digested. And then I reach out to someone that can help me, a sparring partner.
Very good.
Discussing it. Very good. I'm getting a gold star here. Because I was having a conversation earlier in the week about this with a Swedish author and psychologist, Björn Hedensjö, about human drivers. He's just written a book about likability. And we're talking about likability in relation to the green transition, because not everything in the green transition is potentially easy, like changing habits and our relationship between the collective and the individual and the drivers and the format of communicating. So I could ask him here, and we could do that as some sort of...
Join as a guest. Andreas, we could cut to that, actually. I'll show you how it looks. So something like this, you cut to...
Who are these people?
Oh, these are customers of ours. I think we actually worked with them this morning, but these are previous live streams where we've done, that's a guest coming in. One's in LA, one's in Stockholm. So we can easily bring in guests. We could do that now if we had a guest somewhere. Just calls in, and then we can cut to the view and have them in. Join for a minute or two, contribute, and off, and then we can...
But it's not like these old school radio shows where you can call in. That's my topic. I know something about it.
Random. We could give that a go, but that's a bit risky. That could be fun.
Could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, so like bringing in people, thought leaders to contribute, to soothe your mind if something's got. But we're building a show here, literally live as we speak. That could be.
This is our episode 0.
Yeah, like Aurora's rant. Could be a 2-minute segment.
Doesn't sound very sophisticated.
Well, it's all right. We'll call it something else. So
Aurora rant.
Aurora's rant. Yeah. So we can come up with this kind of option. These options exist, and the honesty and the transparency element to it is super exciting, especially somebody with your communication skills.
Let's see.
And honesty and transparency.
Vanity aspect, because, and that's also one thing that we spoke about, the pod format is, everyone's had a pod.
Everyone's having a pod right now. Yeah.
But I like the library factory of the pod where you can see episode by episode.
And it is the most efficient way to make content today, because what I say to my customers is, have a meeting you were going to have anyway, and let us film it. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody and you're like, oh, that was a good 20 minutes in there. I could use that. I wish I could share that with the world. And it was just a spontaneous thing that happened with a good person, with a good guest, and you vibed, and it was just a great piece of material, but you didn't record it. So I would say, and that's an hour of your time. And if you worked with a team like us, you'd come in the studio, do it, and then get back to work. Or you can just do it yourself as well, on your iPhone. It's a mixture of the two.
Devil's advocate. Not everyone is comfortable with a microphone.
Right.
So this changes something.
It
Become
does.
a bit more formal, and their voice is a bit la, and they have a one-liner that they've practiced, and so.
Well, I think that's the skills you have, as I mentioned. You would make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the pressure's on the host to make people feel comfortable, and I think as long as people have a clear domain of expertise and they're staying within that, I think generally most people are quite happy to talk about what they're up to and what their mission is. But I would say in general, people out there, anyone listening right now, I think, getting comfortable on camera and audio like this is kind of a future-proof your future career in a way. I think we're all in the marketing business, whether you like it or not. If there's no hiding away anymore from it. So I would say jump on and treat it like going to the gym. You've got to build the muscles up. You can't expect to just perform on your first go. Like you said, when you were first on stage, you didn't feel great just before going on, and now you've done enough of them, you actually love it, and you love the adrenaline. It's a meditation experience. So I've seen so many people be like, oh no, it's my first podcast, I'm going to be on camera, the lights. And then when they finish, or at the end, they don't want to stop. They realize, oh my God, I've done my 10,000 hours in talking, so I'm ready to roll. Like, just talk about what you know. And most people get comfortable with that.
So you're okay. Conceptually bought your pitch, both in terms of live, but I'm adding features of other live elements into that. So,
yes.
And potentially the old classic radio, you can call in, because I like the fact that other people can interact in real time.
Yes. And
then the question is, and maybe this is a broad question for everyone, is it, and I don't want to use entertaining because climate change isn't entertaining. None of this is entertaining. But is it valuable to digest with me my work, the companies that I see, the technologies that I see, the reactions that I have, and it's my mental process around my day to day that gives me, obviously this is something that allows me to progress both as an investor and something else, and I use that in my writing, and I need to think about it, talk about it, react to other people's counter perspectives, adding knowledge to my gaps. Is that interesting to partake in?
Well, that's a great. The fact that you have that perspective from the start is humble, and I think that you should use the audience to inform you. And this is the beauty of working in a framework that repeats, is that you can say, and thank you for listening today. If you have any feedback for me or any questions you'd like to answer at the next episode in 2 weeks, I'll write them in the comments, and I'll be delighted to spend some time on them in the next session, so people can start to share the journey and actually contribute to where you go next, and improve, take that feedback, because we all the platforms have comments and thumbs up, thumbs down. So, we can see the data, basically, how the content's performing. So,
but that's a relevant point. There are no thumbs down.
Not anymore.
No. So that means one needs. I'm not opening up for haters.
Here's another bumper
here.
sticker for you.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You should only compare yourself to your yesterday you. So you just look at the last episode's data and say, did we incrementally improve from the last episode? Where did people drop off if they did? So I think there's enough data to see, are we going in the right direction? Okay. And get a focus group together as well could be another way of just, that's actually a cool thing, doing something like this with an audience behind you. We've done that a few times in the studio, bigger studio here. that's a great way to kind of activate it. And, then we can go around with a microphone and ask people in the audience to contribute and, have some real laughs as well when it's in that format. So it really is a versatile opportunity. We do these at expos when companies spend a fortune on their stands at these expos. I say to them, why don't you activate this and make it a live studio?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect representation of your product. You have all your product managers there. You have customers coming through for case studies. Let's do a live stream right here. And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. But, we can go out to places.
Until the communications team finds it and goes, this doesn't follow our guidelines.
Or a streaker runs through the background, like at the cricket matches. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. But Andreas, I think we're probably running a bit over time now. I feel like over the many years of pitching and selling, I feel like when you get the person to come up with the ideas, there's a good themselves.
It is the oldest trick in the book.
Just
make them feel smart. The cynical investors.
Well, get them to come up with the idea themselves, and I feel like we're kind of doing that.
We moved into a workshop brainstorming session, and you allowed me to elaborate on some of my ideas.
Which was the dream. Just to finish up, I don't want this to be a kind of a braggy thing, but Andreas, our live stream wizard over here, he's prepared some assets. Do you want to just run through some of those?
Yes, please.
This is the great thing about this world we live in now. Not only the platforms virtually free.
I could have won. We could have had a competition.
Actually, good point. This is a great thing. You can gamify this format. So one of the things we saw during the pandemic was everyone was doing webinars because they had to, which is actually, a lot of people got trained up in, presenting to maybe 30, 40, 50 people that perhaps wouldn't have otherwise would do that. So the pandemic was good for things like that. But what people haven't done, they've gone back to their old ways and said, well, I learned something during the pandemic, which was communicating in a camera view with people on the other end. The next step now is to take that skill set and do more live productions like this. And, gamify it. Like we can imagine training, having a live training session for a company that wants to kind of get everyone on the same page. Gamify it. We know that that's a key to engagement and to memory. Make it fun. So on that note, I'm going to ask you a question to see. We've got the scoreboard up there. If you don't mind.
I'm ready.
I've got a couple of questions for you.
Go.
Okay. The United Kingdom is England, Ireland, Scotland, and
Wales.
Yes. And I am sort of from there.
Really?
Well, my mother is half Welsh. So that's why.
So you speak Gaelic?
Oh, you know too much. No, because they're really long words. Really long words. So I'm quarter Welsh. That's how I get out of it. Okay.
I'm quarter French.
Okay. Yeah. So I need two famous performers from Wales, dead or alive.
Performers?
Yes, I've left that quite open for you there.
I want to say Prince of Wales, but...
No, that
doesn't count.
No. Quickly.
No clue.
Oh, well, you could have said...
Stewart.
Oh, no, but that's not a bad shout. You could have gone Catherine Zeta-Jones, Anthony Hopkins. You could have gone Tom Jones. Probably one of the most famous legends, yes. But anyway, so that's... Oh, you scored 1 point there, so well done. And you got 2 questions for me.
So what is the number of the next upcoming COP in Dubai, where the world will meet and talk about the climate?
What is the name of it?
It's COP, and then there's a number.
Oh. Representing a number of countries, the attendees.
No, it's the sequence of numbers. This is the meeting number.
23.
Andreas?
I have no idea.
No, sorry. 23 I'm going to go with.
It's COP28 in Dubai. Starts in November.
Okay.
End of November.
We'll look out for that. And your second question for me? Do you have one?
Yes. So
Are you going?
Yes. So I was saying that we celebrated the United Nations birthday. How old is the United Nations? I actually said it.
Oh, I could...
Andreas?
80-something. It was formed after the Second World War.
78 years.
Oh, I wasn't far off. I did a little bit of... Yeah.
Yes, but
Half a point for me.
This is a Binary.
Yeah, so you won.
I won.
Congratulations.
I think you rigged that, so I'd be pro the live.
No. So this is a good example, as I mentioned, like gamifying the content and not doing, these closed webinars or anything like that. And I say to people,
But you need an Andreas.
You need a team like us to help. Yes, because there's a lot of things involved, but we can help.
Okay.
And I was going to say that, if you're a company, even doing this internally, like you still see people writing long press releases with their updates, or, my wife gets long emails from her employer about what's happening in the company and she doesn't read them because it takes too long.
I have a question. Could we make a fake background so it looks like I'm in a news studio and the old school?
For sure. But why would you want to look like the old, the old school?
I just had a vision of me being Christiane Amanpour at CNN going murmur.
Wouldn't it be better to have a background of a sort of dusty, waterless planet behind you?
The fear factor. We're adding VR and fine.
Intensify the message.
Yeah. We need another workshop session brainstorming.
Okay. Well, I think we could say I feel that this was fun and I didn't get beaten up too much. So I hope that episode 0, which we've just created just now, becomes episode 1, 2, 3,
Let's
4,
see
5.
what the audience says and if we get any positive comments in the comments field.
Please help me out, audience.
But I've enjoyed this, so chapeau, well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for spending the time. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Bye.